All right, Karen. Go ahead then. Tell us about your potholes.
No, I'm just really proud of myself. I feel like I accomplished something today
Uh-huh.
because there have been these potholes that popped
Mm-hmm.
up recently nearby our house, and every time I drive through, they tear up my car and my tires, and it makes me mad. So I
Sure.
took pictures of them of where they
You took
are.
pictures of the
I
potholes?
did, and I looked
Like you
up the
stopped?
I I slowed down and rolled
Okay.
through as I took a picture. And I looked up the city pothole number
Okay.
because they have a pothole hotline. And I
Okay.
called and I reported them, and they said they should be repaired within 24 hours. So I'm
Wow.
very excited to go see if they received my message and if the potholes have been repaired. But that was my major contribution to society
You
today.
did it.
I
You
felt
did it.
really proud of myself.
You did it. You're basically the mayor now.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't really want that job though, but I'll continue to report the potholes.
You're the potholes are.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's good though. I like it.
I'm so proud of you. You did it.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you. I feel
you're
good.
really just doing the Lord's work out there. I
hmm
appreciate it.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Hmm.
Somebody's got to. It's people
Somebody
like
does.
me that keep things in repair.
That's true. I'm too tired to do that, Andrea.
Are you too tired to do another Irish accent? Because we had several.
Oh,
No.
oh, I
Well,
can.
St.
Oh,
Patrick's Day's over.
ah.
No, it's over. We've moved
Ah.
on.
It just starts up
No,
high for
but
some reason.
it did crush my
Oh,
soul a little every time I got a message from somebody that they thought your
they
accent
liked it.
was hilarious.
Okay, good.
So, not to
I can do
encourage
it.
you, not to encourage you.
I'm ready to do more.
Also, we got shamed
Oh,
because we did not mention Stella one time
oh.
in the last
I was
episode.
thinking about her the whole time. Does
Oh, of
that count?
course you were. You're always thinking about her, our sweet
Always
little
thinking
puppy.
about Stella.
So there's her mention
The
for this
character might
time.
have a dog named Stella. We'll see.
We'll see. Uh-huh.
Her best friend or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We tell about our interesting week that we had. We had
Yeah, just the one
an
part. Just the
adventure.
one. Yeah, we had an adventurous Tuesday, Monday. Adventurous Monday.
It's a St. Patrick's Day.
That's
Yes. So our oldest, Jackson, had been asked to go to the Tyler, the Creator concert
true.
with a friend of his and was really excited, had great seats. And our youngest, Oliver, is also a
He's like a
huge
super
fan, and was doing his very best to be genuinely happy for his brother
He was.
that he
He
got
did well.
to go.
He did it.
He really did. We were really proud of him. And you and I behind the scenes were continuing to look at ticket prices, which were not dropping. And even the nosebleed seats were $300 plus the fees, which
These services
talk
with
about
the
another
fees,
Karen
unbelievable.
situation I would like to report.
Unbelievable. The fees for a ticket were just as much as a whole other ticket.
It really was. And that's unacceptable.
That's
a
crazy.
fulfillment fee for an
Transferring.
electronic ticket.
Yeah, sending an email.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
I should get those fees every time I send an email at work,
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe.
Okay.
If that's what it is, sending an email or
Should
transferring
that be your
something
pay scale?
electronically.
Like
Yes.
every email is $100.
Yeah, that's what the ticket website said. So
Nice.
anyways, we've been tracking tickets and they weren't dropping. And so Jackson left and Oliver turned on
was a little.
yeah, he was a little somber, but he
Yeah.
turned on a video of the concert that was on YouTube and started watching that and was like, "Oh, I love this song. I'm so glad this is in the set list." And while that was happening, the concert had technically started. I think the opening
it was like
act
7:30.
was going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just about that time, there was a pair of tickets that dropped in the lower section, kind of off to the corner. It was considered a partially obstructed view.
Sure.
And the tickets dropped to $80. So with the fees, it was $115 a ticket. And so we jumped on it and surprised him.
Yep. He was
goodness.
so happy.
I've never seen
He
that
was
kind of joy.
so happy.
We just said, "Hey, you better stop watching this. You're going to ruin the surprise, when you get there." So we jumped in the car and drove and dropped them off. And
We did good. We got to the
what'd you
show. It was
think of
so
it?
fun. I mean, it was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Tyler's amazing. I know his music a little bit. He puts on a show. It's not a concert. He's had multiple sets. He moved around, a couple of costume change things, but just a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
And everybody there was so hyped. We ended up with great seats, actually. They're right off. It's almost
really
like
worked
being
out.
in the wings, kind of off stage to the right. we could just see directly down the side, and he was right there. It was great.
So cool. And
So-
Oliver just loved it. Had the best time. Matt said it was one of the best concerts he's been to.
It was cool. It
So
was
they
very
called
cool.
me when they left because I had dropped them off since everything was so last minute and we didn't want to try to find parking. We just needed to get them there as quickly as possible. So I jump in the car to go pick them up. And as I do, Matt calls me and says, hey. So Jackson just called me because he went back to where he parked and his car is no longer there.
Yep.
And so he looks around because where did he park? At a convenience store, like a pharmacy.
He parked at a pharmacy 0.2 miles from the venue. Do you think anybody's going to let that
Which
slide?
they parked there to go in to get cash for parking and then walked out and they were like, hey, we're really close. Why don't we just park here?
Everybody's parked here. Let's just walk over.
Not seeing the 1,000 signs saying do not park here for concerts and events, so you will be towed. So he was towed. First time for that. He's 17, so got some life lessons there. And he called. Matt said, "Is there a picture? Or is there a
Take a
sign?
picture of the sign. And
call
all
the
that sort of
number,
thing."
see where they are, and how much it's gonna be."
So yeah,
we drove over.
So I was trying not to be grumpy dad. I really was. I was trying to be. We had a great concert.
Yeah.
And I was.
You walk out on the high of the concert.
I was a little frustrated with the idea that let me just park at a CVS across from the venue, like they're not going to be towed.
Lessons learned. So we drive over to the tow spot, bail out the car, and as we're sitting there, I just have this like full circle moment of realization that like Matt has become the like grumpy dad in these situations. The scary dad. Yeah. Because when we were in high school, there was a time that Matt left my house and I said bye to him and I'm sitting in the living room with my mom and all of a sudden he pops back up at the door knocking really fast and panicky. And he says, I backed into that van across the street. And had to call his dad.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. My first car was a 70 Chevelle, so it was a literal tank.
Yeah.
Just actual sheet metal.
Chevelle was great.
Chevelle was fine.
On it.
Backed right into that van, collapsed the driver door, not a scratch on the Chevelle.
Nope, nothing good. But having to like wait for his dad to come and he was kind of quiet and like grumpy and now he's having to talk to the neighbor and, get this fixed and the expense of it all. And so I'm sitting there watching Matt with Jackson at the tow place being like, oh my gosh, now you're the dad.
I'm the mad dad.
It was
being quiet and weird and frustrated.
Very full circle, but
so that's it.
He did a good job.
Is that another way of saying I'm old? Is that what you're actually trying to tell me?
A little bit, maybe a little bit, but mostly you did a good job. You didn't get too upset. You understood it was just a mistake. He definitely learned a lesson.
There were 4 or 5 other people that pulled up to this same auto tow place.
Yes, everybody
parked at the CVS, I guess, or whatever it is.
And getting out in all their concert gear.
Goodness.
Yes, so we were thankful we were there and we're able to help him with that. And he had to help pay for it too, so not fun for him either, but it was a good lesson.
All the excitement, but the main thing is going back to me being old. We stayed up too late that night. I haven't been up till like 2 a.m. and quite a while.
In a minute.
It's been a couple days.
Yeah, it was such a fun night though. And Oliver just kept talking about all the things about the concert he loved, and so that was a lot of fun. But
it was a great concert. It was fun.
Good experience, good lessons all around, and good memories made.
It's fun.
For sure. But yeah, should we?
Let's do show stuff.
Let's talk about our book.
Hit me with the music first.
Okay, my favorite song. Beautiful. I just love it. So gorgeous. But yes, thanks to everybody who listened last week and to our episode.
Our growing listenership, actually. We're getting up there. People are catching on, and all thanks to you guys sharing. So keep sharing and go to the website. Right, we were gonna talk about that at the top. Go to the website. We on the homepage, our next chapter podcast.com. On the homepage, there's a place to sign up for the newsletter, which is a little misleading because it's not really a newsletter. We're not going to be sending out
There's not
a
newsletter yet.
No, we're not going to be sending out a bunch of stuff. But if you sign up, you can get your name in the book. we're going to be putting names in the book.
Your name will be published in perpetuity.
Our next chapter podcast.com. Go
All
do it.
All of our OG
Helpful.
fans who've
That's right.
been here, our day ones, get your name in there so that you can be in our book. Sign up.
You know that's right.
On our website. But yeah, thank you for just continuing to listen, sharing the podcast with friends and family. We're on Instagram at Our Next Chapter Podcast. Same thing for TikTok. But we love hearing from you. Again, just thanks to everyone who loved Matt's Irish accent. You're only encouraging him,
That's
people.
right. I've got a
telling
couple
you,
more in the bag. I'm waiting.
Gluttons for punishment. But we are Matt and Andrea.
That's us.
Yes. And we are a married couple, married for 20 years, together for 25 this year, next month in April.
Woo!
And
Still need to plan something.
Yeah. Figuring out what our next chapter looks like as our boys have gotten older. They're 13 and 17. And in our free time, we've decided to write a rom-com novel together. And so Matt had the great idea to document that process and that journey with a podcast. And that is what brought us together today.
And that's why you're here. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And today on the show, we've got a couple of things. We're going to do another author spotlight. I'm excited. I love it when you do the author spotlight because I learn a lot, and our listeners definitely appreciate it, the recommendations and learning about the different authors. We have that, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about story beats this time around. Right?
Teach me. I asked you to teach me about the writing process because I'm new to it.
Yeah, and so as we figure out the structure of the book, these plot points are kind of the tried and true go-tos. We'll talk a little bit about those 10 plot points, and then a little bit about our main character. I think we've got some questions we want to hash out here.
Dig a little
about
deeper.
Her and her personality and maybe what some of her baggage is, that kind of stuff. And that'll help us, of course, round up the story and figure out what's important to her and how to best, bring her emotions to life.
Absolutely.
So, dang it.
You haven't created my jingle.
Music.
If anybody would like to submit a jingle, we'll entertain it. We need a author spotlight. Author of the week. Author of the week. Thank you. To highlight our author of the week. No. Oh, we really got to work on that jingle.
I was going to bring it down low.
Thank you for the Oh yeah, fade out slowly. Thank you.
Author of the week.
Thank you for the enthusiasm.
I'm bringing the energy.
You know who's really going to appreciate that?
Who's that?
Annabel Monaghan.
Boom.
Because she's our author of the week. So excited to spotlight her. She has a new book coming out in May called It's a Love Story. Right on the nose, May 27th. But I've read only one of her books and I really, really loved it. I can't wait to meet more. I actually may read some on vacation. But just to give a little bit of a background and overview of her, she's from LA, which is, I think, where our book is going to be set. So maybe we could get some tips, hot tips from her about great places to go in LA for dates and eating and things. But she went to school on the East Coast. She got a bachelor's in English at Duke University. Ooh. Shout out. I have some Duke University friends. And then got an MBA in finance, of all things, from the Wharton School at UPenn. And so she actually started her career in finance and then realized she had a dream to write for a living. It was like a childhood dream. And so she transitioned to that. And I love this about her too. She was a teacher. She taught novel writing at the Writing Institute at Sarah Lawrence College. So super cool. We love teachers. And so she started writing. She did some like young adult novels. She did an essay collection called Does This Volvo Make My Butt Look Big? So it's just like humorous essays. She's really funny. It's things that she had published in like the Huffington Post, The Week, the Rye Record. Even she's just funny in her social media posts and her newsletters and things. She's very like quippy and witty. So I really like her sense of humor. But one of her first like big novels to really blow up was called Nora Goes Off Script. And then she has another one called Same Time Next Summer. Like I said, the one I read was called Summer Romance. And it was just awesome. It was just about a woman who was going through a divorce and just really finding herself. She was a mom to 3 kiddos and trying to really be there for them while she was grieving the death of her mom, which, not spoiling too much, that's all in the first couple pages of the book. But I just really loved the journey of this female lead character, and it gave me a lot of inspiration for our book. One thing I loved is when you sign up for her newsletter on her website, you get kind of like the auto email, and one of her paragraphs says, I write love stories about women who are changing their own lives, getting unstuck, finding their voices, letting go of the nonsense. I write them from the perspective of a woman who has gotten unstuck, found her voice, and let go of a hell of a lot of nonsense. I share that perspective here along with outtakes from the writing cave and books I'm excited about. So that's kind of her, intro newsletter of what you get when you sign up. But I just love that. I love that she's writing these like strong women who are empowered. I mean, it just goes so well. I mean, no wonder I love summer romance, but I love that that's her perspective because she's navigated that herself. And I think we're relatively close in age. And so you become a woman in your 40s, 50s.
In the book you read, did she do a good job of balancing like the heavy topic that you're talking about of divorce and yada, yada with her quippy style? Like, did they kind of go hand in glove?
Yeah, for sure. I think it wasn't too quippy. Like, I think her personality, her social media presence is much more quippy and witty than the book necessarily was. But there was a lot of like lighthearted fun and just, of course, there's a love interest in the book. And so there's some fun stuff with him. You would love him because he's like a lawyer, but he shows up at these meetings wearing really crazy like clothes, like he's kind of pretending to represent her in these meetings. So again, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, lots of lighthearted, fun stuff. Like you enjoy the journey, but also dealing with grief and loss and things like that. So just a lot of fun. I love her presence. She's a cool gal.
Which book do you want to read of hers next of the couple you mentioned?
I kind of want to do Nora Goes Off Script. I think that's her first. Yeah, just to kind of they don't overlap. They're all standalone books. But just I guess to read them in order. Yeah, but I'm also really excited about it's a love story that's coming out May 27th. So just really excited to highlight her this week. We'll post all of her social media and everything on our Instagram. If you'd like to go follow her, maybe add one or more of her books to your, TBR. Yeah, gotcha. You're catching on your TBR list. Yeah. But
I love it.
We like her, so we're happy to highlight Annabel Monaghan.
Annabel Monaghan. And her name's probably real. See, at least that sounds like a real name.
I did look up.
I'm hooked on this thing.
No, I did look up Paige Toon, and that is her real name.
Is it really?
It is her real name, yeah.
Man, I wish my last name was Toon. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I saw another book where the character's name was Paige Turner because you mentioned that. And that was a character's name. I'm sure there's somebody out there named Paige Turner. Oh, yeah. Hello, Paige. Reach out and tell us hello.
Yeah. Paige, if you're out there.
But Paige Toon, that was her real name. I did look that up when you accused her of a fake author name.
Maybe we should be like the Stella twins. That should be our author
That's our pen name?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, then Stella could just come on road trips with us
and would hate that.
Appear at events and panels. And
she would just be asleep the whole time.
Yeah. But I'm excited just to highlight Annabelle. Like, I just love her stories. I love her structure and just the fact that she writes these strong female leads. So I'm excited to read more of her.
I love that she comes from, it sounds like a more short form, like background of writing articles and short things for magazines or publications, because that's easier to show your quippiness because it doesn't get tired for the reader quick, right?
That's true.
If you did a long form romance book and everything's quippy, well, then it's going to be a chore to read. It's just going to be mentally exhausting. So I'm glad she's found a way to kind of put it together.
Yeah. And it gives me hope that she comes from a finance background, which is more like me with my science background, that I can learn this writing process like she did and that it can be something that we do. And so I'm excited to have you teach me today to get started. I know there's going to be a lot of segments where I'm going to be asking questions of having you teach me different things about the process, just knowing that that's your background and what you've studied. But I'm excited to learn so that we can get into this more as we start our writing process.
Do you want to talk about that now?
I would love to.
Okay. Well, let's jump into that then.
What did you prepare for me?
Today, we're going to be talking about the 10 story beats of a romance novel. And these 10 have been cultivated from, imagine all of the standards of structure and writing, especially in the genre. You've got things like the higher level ones like the 3-act structure or the hero's journey, which can kind of apply to anything. But then you get a little bit more specific into Save the Cat, which is something, and then also...
What's Save the Cat?
So yeah, Blake Snyder Save the Cat beats basically, is
Oh,
a book
okay.
called Save a Cat.
Okay.
It's about structure and beats.
Okay.
And then Romancing the Beat is another one, a big one in this category. And so they all kind of like what we talked about, creativity and Graham Wallace's preparation, incubation, illumination, verification.
Yeah.
That's like the standard, and then people expand on it and add other beats. These 10 beats are basically the most basic outline you can find. And I think
outline, is that a trademark
TM
phrase? Yeah. Okay.
And so I think even throughout this podcast, I think our plan should be to kind of tackle one of these beats maybe every week. And as we fill in all these holes, that'll allow us to start connecting the dots and moving things around. I am getting a little nauseous off the fumes. I put felt tiles on the wall today so we can put our cards up. And the little sticky things, I can smell them, Andrea. They're in my nose, and I can smell them.
I think you must have a very sensitive sniffer because I'm sitting closer to this wall of tiles, and I cannot smell it.
But don't worry about that.
You've been sniffing glue.
I've been sniffing glue, so it all makes sense.
So you're saying that, like, on each podcast, we would...
Yeah.
Once you kind of teach these 10, then we'll take each one in order and kind of fill out our own story.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily have to be in order. We can kind of tackle them as we want. If we have a good idea for one section, and then that'll actually help us get a foothold into the surrounding blocks, right?
Yeah.
We're playing Minesweeper, essentially, filling in the holes.
I never understood that, and then I saw a video recently on how it was played, and I was like, oh, I just clicked around until you found a bomb. I had no idea. I didn't know there was a strategy.
You were not good at sweeping mines.
I was not. I played solitaire mostly.
You just like that sound at the end.
Yeah, that and AOL chats with you.
Oh, yeah. Good old AOL chats. Oh, my gosh. You got me off topic here.
Sorry.
The
First
10
beat.
story beats. Let's talk story beats. I'll try to get through them pretty quick. I've got examples for each one. We won't get too bogged down because I think, like I said, we'll talk about them in future shows.
In more detail.
The first one, is the most classic of all time, the meet cute. Right? The first meeting. This is where they meet for the first time, and this is where we really get to set a tone. Does it get to be awkward? Does it get to be funny, dramatic? Are they antagonistic towards each other, right? It's usually something memorable, giving the readers just a hook.
What would you say our meet cute was?
Oh my gosh. The boot.
Yeah.
And the
I mean, I think we'd known each other for a little bit at that time. We were in a theater class together in 10th grade. And so we were kind of like in each other's orbit, but hadn't really interacted. And then this one day, a group of us was in a practice room rehearsing our lines. And there was this tiny Santa boot that it was like it had been a plant, like something that a florist had delivered, and a plant was in it.
Yeah, it
and
was tiny.
Matt shoved his foot down in this tiny little boot and is like hobbling around, probably doing some kind of pirate accent, if I had to guess.
Very peg-leggy.
And I just laughed so hard. And when we got married and our friend Luke married us, that was one of the stories he told about some of his earliest memories of us together. And just Matt making me laugh. So.
Yeah, that's okay.
I guess that could be our meet.
That's
cute.
Our meet cute. I have some other examples, but I think other people know what I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Let's move to number 2 here. Okay. First impressions. There's this initial attraction or conflict, right? So they meet, and then the next question is, well, is it love at first sight? Do they hate each other at first sight? Are they friends? Friends to enemies? Grumpy sunshine?
Friends to enemies. That would be a bad romance.
Not friends to enemies. You know what I mean?
That'd be a bad romance.
Friends to lovers, enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
And so you get to kind of set that up. There's a misjudgment of some kind. They assume something about each other that is usually going to be challenged later in the book. So an example would be that he thinks she's shallow and self-absorbed, but she's actually just socially anxious. Or maybe she thinks he's a player, but he's actually just painfully shy and has never been in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Like some of these little misjudgments and that first little
assumptions
for me kind of feeling.
Yeah, and I don't think we've decided yet what the first impression is going to be between our leads. So
I don't know.
Nice.
Number 3 is there's some sort of conflict or obstacle. This is the thing that keeps them apart. Because, if it's love at first sight and they fall in love in chapter 1, well, it's going to be a short book.
Not a great book.
It's going to be a very short book. This is the thing that keeps them apart. Maybe.
Although my anxiety would be so happy, truthfully.
If they just get together at the
start.
Just
like, oh, and everything's perfect.
And 95% of the book is just the happily ever after.
Yeah.
They're lying and they're kidding.
Maybe that's another book we write where the whole thing is just
positive
happily ever after. Yeah.
But yeah, this could be anything from being a CEO, getting a job where office romance is a huge no-no, right? Or
some reason they can't be
Yeah.
together.
just some reason they can't be together.
Yeah.
Once you have that feeling, you get to this buildup, this growing closeness and chemistry. They start to overcome a little bit of that hurdle, but that tension really turns into undeniable attraction. They start seeing each other a little bit differently. They get to know each other.
Is this the montage
This
of all
is
the cute dates and interactions?
It's pretty close. It's pretty darn close because this is usually like that tension banter. Maybe we get forced proximity here, or just bonding moments.
Yeah.
An example, stereotypical example here would be like fake dating, forcing them to spend more time together than they expected.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about that with ours, like what's going to require them to be together so that they get time to build their relationship and have these interactions that they need.
I think we're definitely moving towards forced proximity.
Yeah.
At least for a chunk of it.
Yeah, I think so.
You know?
Well, we talked about maybe them planning an event together or something like that. Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Once they get glowing, once they get growing closeness and this chemistry going, we have this turning point. This is where just something changes after this moment, right? Maybe they're forced to share a bed and wake up tangled together, where it's cute, awkward, and lingering glances type stuff. But it should be earned and impactful. It can't just be, well, magically, oh, there's only one bed in this hotel room. You know, it has to be, you have to have that build up before we get to a little bit of closeness.
Is this always positive or like this, or I guess there's some kind of intimate moment and then there's some reaction to it?
Yeah.
That could be positive or not.
Definitely. And what we're trying to do is you're always teeing up the next moment, right? And so we've started on this, they meet, it's cute, maybe something pulls them apart, maybe something pulls them back together. This is kind of the turning point where they're getting a little bit closer and you start to go, oh, this may happen. This may be a thing. And then boom, number 6 here is the big, the setback, the big misunderstanding, right? So we really need to turn up this, oh, they're about to get together. Oh, here it comes. Boom, misunderstanding. And this is the thing that sets them back to their build-up phase that we were talking about.
Well, and it's that if they haven't had a chance to build the trust, this is where maybe like a conversation is needed, communication is needed. But if they are still in that building of trust phase, then maybe they just they're going to spend some time in the misunderstanding.
Definitely, they need to build the tension the other way, right? We went from building romance and love and together cuteness to, oh man, we know that they're meant to be together because that's what the book's about. Yeah. But man, there's some tension here because he saw her hugging somebody and got the wrong idea.
Yeah, because in real life, you might not trust your judgment about that person. That might be when your brain starts telling you, well, they're cheating on you, or they're not as serious about you. They don't like you as much as you like them.
Right?
Yeah.
People start to get scared of commitment naturally. It's the same sort of thing where you go, oh, well, maybe they aren't that into me, even though I'm into them. Which then leads to number 7, which is this separation, this emotional or physical distance that kind of, they both are like, okay, we need to slow things down. But they both know they still love each other. They're just mad at, they're mad at the situation because of the misunderstanding. You know, and I think that is where you grow that distance.
This is like Ross and Rachel when she's on the plane to Paris and he's wanting to know if she got off the plane. They're being separated when she's going to move to France.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 8 is the epiphany. It's this realization of love, right? They both realize that they love each other, but this has a fear. There's something that they need to overcome as a couple. It's probably one of the misunderstandings from earlier in the story that's been holding them back, whether real or imagined or just a big deal in their head. They come together and they need to make it work. So it's one of those things where they have this realization of love that then leads to the snapback of the grand gesture, where they start to prove their feelings. I mean, this is the big moment where they finally show their love in a big way. Think of every rom-com where somebody's been on stage and taken the mic and, I don't care, Jim, I love you. I don't care what you say. And he's like, I love you too. And it's that big realization, the big grand gesture of love. the Goodyear blimp flying across with "I love you."
I'm so excited. Our anniversary is coming up. What's your grand gesture gonna be?
Maybe a high five?
Oh,
2 high fives?
that doesn't sound like screaming on a stage and professing your love in front of a crowd.
I'm going to do it here on the podcast.
Oh, okay. I'm very excited for that segment.
Let me write that down.
Matt's grand gesture.
One thing I got to do.
Matt's grand gesture.
I mean, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Let me think about that.
Oh, this is my favorite step, the grand gesture. Step number 9.
It's so great. Maybe I'll let you do the podcast yourself that week. That's my grand gesture. I'm going to get out of your way.
I can be alone. I think that was a different step.
And then, so the grand gesture leads to finally the happy ending. Number 10, love wins, right? And
the happy ever after.
The resolution where our readers feel satisfied. The characters have overcome their thing and become better people. They've grown together. They've grown personally. That sort of thing. And there's always, this is also where you see that, epilogue of the wedding or their kids or their
I love a good epilogue. Oh, it's just like peeking back the curtain. It's like just checking in on my friends. Like I'm already missing them the second the story ends. And so when I get an epilogue, especially when it's down the line a little bit, years or whatever, it's just like, just getting to see friends you haven't seen in a long time. Be like, what are they doing? How are their lives? Are they okay?
Do we need an epilogue?
Yes. We absolutely need an epilogue.
What if we have a prelogue and they just get together in the prelogue? Then the whole book can be the happy part, like we said earlier.
Prelogue or a prologue? I think it's a prologue.
It's a prologue. I got excited about doing your book with all the
I'm very excited. Yes.
Okay. Let me write it down.
Maybe that should be the prologue, is just, don't worry. Everything works out.
Everything's fine.
For all of you with anxiety.
They go to a fortune teller, get their palms read, and your love line ends in an epilogue and a happy ever after.
I do love a fortune teller.
So those are the 10. Meet cute, first impression, conflict obstacle, the build up, intimate moment, big misunderstanding, the separation, the epiphany, the grand gesture, and then happy ever after, love winning.
I love it.
So we'll kind of mull over those 10 beats as we go over the next few weeks, and hopefully we get to writing soon. I mean, the process of the prose, I'm not too nervous about it because I feel like we're going to come up with a really great outline and really plan scenes.
It's going to be really detailed, especially now with our fancy wall of glue.
That's right.
Glue tiles. But just to, put all the details into each of these steps and then break them down further. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
And just having a better understanding of, because as you're saying each of these, I'm picturing in my head books, movies, TV shows that I've watched, and I can think of an example of every one of these steps, but to just have it listed out this way of the arc of it and the journey, like that's really, really helpful.
And we'll keep touching on some other like structures, right? Like we can go back to a traditional 3-act structure, which movies are the easiest form of that.
Yeah.
And the problem is once I tell you the 3-act structure in a movie, you're going to see it every time.
I'm a little nervous about that. I almost want to stay naive because you'll do that where we'll leave a movie and you'll you and Jackson are both really, you both understand the structure really well, and you'll be talking about a movie. Well, the first act really blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the first act? When did we transition? What were the acts? Like when we go to a play and there's an intermission, that is a very clear signal to me that there was a first act and a second act. But like I told you, when I consume media or read books or whatever it is, I just want to go along for the ride. I just want to live in someone else's world, and I'm not thinking about the author and their intent and their purpose. Like I probably wasn't a great student in that respect in literature classes, because I'm just totally along for the ride. So I'm a little nervous.
We work so well together.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous to learn about the 3-act structure, but for the sake of our research for our book, I will.
We can talk Save the Cat. We can even step out a little bit. And Dan Harmon has his own. It's called the Story Circle. That every Rick and Morty episode or even Community, it's based on this other kind of story structure. That once you hear it, you're gonna go, oh man, yeah, it is like that on every episode. Which is my thing. It makes me excited.
I know you love it. So, I don't want it to ruin the magic, I think is the fear. And the magic.
We'll put a content warning on the podcast though, here and there. Hey, if you don't want movies ruined for you.
But do I have to do it? Can I put on put headphones earbuds? Yeah. You just talk about it and then I can opt out. Yeah.
Well, that does lead us to the last thing we need to talk about today and kind of deep dive on our female character.
Yeah.
We've been kind of batting this around a lot, and it's time to just dig deeper.
Well, yeah, I feel like we figured out what we love about her, and now it's getting to the point of what like baggage is she carrying? What like maybe past relationships does she have? You know, what is she bringing with her into this story that we're going to have to think about when we craft her match, her guy, you know?
That fear is the inner conflict that we want to see our character grow from.
Yeah.
Right. So if we say her inner fear is she's terrified to, my brain just lost it.
Well, I think when I think about her fears and what we've talked about her before, I think she's lasered in so much on her focus on her sister that I would think that she probably has a fear of like being independent or like focusing on herself. She's so good at turning the attention away from herself for whatever reason. I think that's what
they're kind of codependent. And she's also dependent on her work and her job, which is her sister too, in our case. So maybe growth looks like her missing that or losing that or having to find a way forward. Because I mean, that goes to a lot of stuff right now with people our age and that their job is their identity a lot of the time. So I think there's something there.
But I think that's why I think too, I'm just questioning, I've been thinking a lot about her past relationships. Like, does she date a lot or has she in the past? Has she been married before? Or did she maybe have some high school sweetheart that, you know, she really loved? Or, you know, who did she date in college? Just what has her dating history been like? And then what does she carry because of that?
Sure.
That might lead to her fears or...
To me, there's a piece where she's not much of a dater and she's not even that much of a flirter or chatter with dudes because I feel like she's attached to her sister in a way that she feels like people are trying to use her to get to her sister.
So just very untrusting.
So she's very guarded, walls up kind of person maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I could just see, you know, if she was very motherly to her growing up, like she just never made time for that. That's kind of why I was thinking of like the high school or college romance, if she had something like that. Yeah. Because if she went away to college, that might have been one of her only times that she had time to herself.
Independence.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, maybe there was some kind of college romance or something that shaped who she is or how she views relationships. But otherwise, you know, we don't really know yet. When did the sister get famous and how did our lead character, how did she get brought into the sister's world to help manage her and you know, organize her
and I mean,
life?
I guess something we really need to think about is how tight do we want her to be with her sister, right? Because part of the baggage, we talked about a single mom. You know, if we're going to say single mom, that can be single mom that worked 2 jobs, but was still there for them. Or single mom that worked 5 jobs and the girls were by themselves. And so she became her mother and that they were like tied as kids and that just continued. Yeah. And maybe she hasn't had a break. Maybe she hasn't done the college thing because her sister got popular early and they've just been living this life. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then my thought is around like, how do you break in? Like, how do you get into her world, into her bubble? Like, what is her love language? Or, you know, what speaks to her heart? Like,
I mean, if she's a planner and a giver in that way, does she appreciate that? Or is she just looking for somebody to bring fun into her life?
Yeah.
Or is she just looking for...
I wonder, how would someone who was all about acts of service be received by her? You know, if she, like you said, she's the giver, she's the nurturer, she's always taking care and doing for everyone else. If you have somebody suddenly show up who's just being so, just it's instinctual to them to just anticipate her needs and notice things about her. Right. Like, to me, I think that's what would break through. That's what would break through her, like her walls. The shell. Yeah.
The candy-coated shell of her personality.
Do you think, what would you see her love language be? Like, what would get through to her?
Let me think. The love languages are acts of service, gifts, touch,
quality time,
and
what did you say? Acts of
Acts of service,
service,
touch, quality time,
gifts,
gifts.
physical touch, quality time.
Yeah, we're forgetting one.
There's
too.
one. Dang, I can't think of it.
Words of affirmation.
Do we say that one?
Okay.
Maybe not. Okay, that's the other one.
Yeah, or words of praise or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably acts of service. I think about you a lot, honestly, because you do a lot for us around here, and you like it when people take things off your plate.
This is true.
You know, maybe that's her
I'm
thing.
projecting.
Yeah, you're projecting. But I think that makes sense. Like, hey, I already handled that. You know, that feeling.
But I also don't know that his love language should be acts of service. Like, he may just be naturally good at it, but I think it would also be good if they didn't have the same love language, you know? I mean, if you buy into all that, I mean, I think there's a lot of validity and truth to it. And I don't think that anybody's one thing. I mean, just because, acts of service is something I love doesn't mean I don't want you to get me a gift or tell me nice things.
Oh, I know that. I know that's right.
Do all of the things. Yes, they're all good. But that's the one that, like, speaks to my heart the most and means the most to me. And like, a lot of times I feel like you're actually more quality time or physical touch. And so you'll be like, come watch this show with me. But I get frustrated because I'm like, well, if I need to get these dishes done, or I need to finish folding these clothes, or whatever the thing is. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, if you would just do the dishes with me or help me fold these clothes, we would be done faster. And then I could sit and watch the show with you and do the thing that you want to do, you know? So I think that works well if the two people don't have the same love language, but that they learn to speak each other's. Or like I said, if he just has an aptitude for, he's a noticer. He sees.
That's also a place for tension and growth.
Yeah.
In the narrative.
Yeah.
Like you said, not everybody's just one person, one thing.
Yeah.
And so it's good for us at the start here, as we're building a character out, to give them a base of, you know, they really appreciate physical touch or whatever their thing is.
Yeah.
But for her, it does feel like safety and like her being enough is going to be a thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Because she's just been attached to her sister, not in a negative way. She loves it, and she loves her sister.
She chooses it,
But she just wants to feel like she's the star.
Yeah.
She wants to be the star for once. But not like in the limelight, but like in someone's eyes.
Just, someone where she's...
Admiration and
I think sort of to share the load, to have somebody to share the load, a true partner, I think that's going to be really powerful for her, because like you said, the safety, the security, the trust, those are all going to be so critical. And I just feel like she's going to have some kind of baggage where she's got her guard up, she's got walls. And when a person could create an environment for her where she could trust, could offload something onto them, you know, like, that's going to be a really big
How
deal.
would you feel about, and I'm not necessarily suggesting this, but how would you feel about maybe in her past there was an abusive relationship?
Possibly.
And that's what helps keep her glued to her sister.
Possibly. Or maybe if there was a single mom and she dated and there were various partners throughout her life that she's watching her mom, maybe her mom had an abusive relationship and she saw that and she's like, that's never going to be me.
Yeah.
I'm never going to let that happen to my sister.
Well, I'm never going to give anybody the power over me to do that. And make me feel that way.
Right.
Which then puts her walls up and makes her type A, and makes her
always in control, always planning, predicting. Yes, that I could definitely.
And then her sister took it the other way with straight up comedy. She's like, humor is her medicine.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I'm not going to have that kind of negativity around me. Like, that's her way of dealing with it.
She's going to avoid it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And I think that could be something that, depending on if this was a stepdad at some point or whatever, like, that could really affect them, especially depending on what age the girls were when this happened, when the mom was in this relationship. Because if she was a preteen or teen, and then the sister, the celebrity sister, was like a toddler, if they're about 10 years apart, those would both be really, like,
different
upbringings, but like impactful ages for both of them to see something like that. They would process it in different ways because of their ages. So I could see our lead processing it, like we said, becoming the protector, being in power and in control and being very on guard against that kind of behavior. Whereas if this was a toddler who saw an abusive relationship like this, I could see them reacting in a very different way. Oh, if I'm silly and I'm funny and everybody stays happy all the time, then we don't get mad. We don't throw things. We don't abuse, of like, if I just entertain you, I could see the celebrity sister, like you said, handling it in a very different way.
Yeah. I guess, my question from the narrative perspective then becomes, okay, how do we portray that? Is it something she talks about? Is it something, we're reading a book where a father comes back into the picture, is he still in the picture? Does he come back? Do we see him? Who
was this person? Yeah. I think we'll get a lot of it through just the POV of our lead lady. That when you're just getting her inner thoughts, when she's seeing her sister, she's describing her sister, she's thinking about some, event or, incident or whatever. I think that's where we're going to get some of these details of how she sees her sister as ever the entertainer. I could see her kind of almost resenting her sister for being so, quote, happy.
Well-adjusted.
Yeah, which, like we've said, that it's going to be a cover for the sister too. Yeah. Definitely a defense mechanism. But I could see her being resentful of like, how can you be so happy? I'm carrying so much weight and it's struggle. I could see that.
I think that's a dynamic I'm seeing in my head. Is that the sister is a little more free spirit, doing her thing, but doesn't realize that our main character's taking a lot on.
Yeah, and I think that just stems from the fact that she would have been so much younger that her brain just wasn't developed in the way that it was for our leading lady, and so she just she just remembers that when they were laughing, nobody was crying.
Right.
So I definitely like that. I like where that's going. I want to that we can put cards on the wall and kind of flesh that out. I like that, and it gives me a better idea of what our leading female, like what she would be carrying and what would be meaningful to her in a relationship with somebody else. What would disarm her a little bit? What would bring the walls down? Like, I have a better idea of what he needs to look like and what he needs to bring to the table.
What kind of safety, what kind of approach.
Because I can tell you there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to like pass muster with her. She'll dismiss him very quickly. And so, he's got to bring a lot to the table to get those walls down.
Have we talked about our characters' names yet?
Oh, I just said I'm really excited to name them.
Yeah.
Very, very excited.
I think we need to start working on some names. I keep saying sister and the other sister, and it's very confusing.
I think the same. I think maybe in the next episode we can pitch each other our names.
Let's pitch names next episode,
and then decide on something. So at least let's commit to the sisters getting names. Okay. I just feel like the guy's still too nebulous. I can't name him yet. I've had a couple ideas.
His name is Nebulous?
Yeah. Nebulos. I did have some ideas coming to mind of like, I think I want it to be a very like millennial name.
Like Rod Lengthy.
No.
No? Is that not his name?
No, my brain, I was thinking like, I like the name Carson because I was thinking of Carson Daly and how like TRL was a huge part of our teenager days, and so I thought Carson, that's a fun name, and so I was like, oh, what other like millennial names?
Isn't he on Good Morning America now? He's doing something.
I know. He's just all grown up, just like the rest of us. But
anyway, had a late night show. It was super late.
Yeah. He was just a big part of our adolescence.
So was Justin Timberlake.
Oh goodness! Don't get me started. Maybe his name's Justin. I don't know. J Name Men. It's a whole it's a romance book thing that J Name Men are tragic.
Like anybody like John's and
trouble.
Stuff. Terrible.
Yeah, trouble. John's trouble.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So Carson had just popped in my head. So I thought, maybe I'll pitch that as a name. But I'm not attached to it. It just that was like my line of thinking of millennial names or things that are meaningful to us because of our age. So I wanna let's try to name
Richard.
No, what? Stop right there. I'm stopping you right there.
Okay.
I'm not going down that road. But
I know you won't.
Let's commit. Definitely not now. Let's commit to naming the sisters next time.
Let's do that next time.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Good talk. Thank you. And thank you for teaching me.
Oh yeah, it was fun. And we'll
I
keep talking about the 10 beats,
Yeah, I like understanding it better. Let us know what you think. And did you learn something?
Did you learn something?
Came to class today. We were
questions.
inspired by our author of the week, Annabel Monaghan, the teacher.
That's right.
Man, wouldn't it have been cool to be in one of her writing classes? Like she taught novel writing. That's so cool.
We should reach out to her.
missed out.
Yeah, like come on the podcast.
Oh yeah, like will you do a mini lesson? Just give us a little preview of what your class was like. But yeah, let us know what you thought. If you learned anything, if you have any thoughts. Do you like the name Carson? or Justin? Okay. Let us know what you're thinking.
What about Matthew?
Maybe Matthew's a great name. I haven't told that story. Matthew is my favorite guy's name, and it has been when I was probably 5, and I got one of my first baby dolls that I remember and named. I named it Matthew. His name was Matthew David, and it was always my favorite name. Mm-hmm. So it was just serendipitous.
Your dreams came true. I get it.
I did. You really my dreams came to life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because Jackson is Jackson Matthew.
That's true.
And I wanted to name him Matthew, but you were like, there were so many Matts. I was always Matt V. But then he became Jackson V.
So many Jacksons.
There's so many Jacksons. And now he talks about wanting to go by Matthew. He has a couple of friends that call him Matthew, which just makes me happy. But yeah, each of our boys have part of your name. Jackson has your first name. As their middle name, but Jackson has your first name. And Ollie has your middle name.
That's
Ross.
true.
So I love that they each have that, but I love naming. I love initials. I'm going to have to think about our characters' initials and their monograms. Like, this is very important stuff.
What if he has like a kick-ass name, like Switch Backflip?
Maybe that's the rodeo clown that you so badly want to be in our story.
Maybe be a rodeo clown.
But yeah, maybe we'll put a poll up if you send in your submissions, and we'll put a poll up of names on Instagram.
What about Ringly Disastrous? Like something real.
You know what? You prepared your list of names that you'd like to pitch, and I'll prepare mine, and then we'll share. But find us on Instagram.
Dojo Masterson.
At Our Next Chapter Podcast. Send in your name suggestions or any thoughts you have about this episode. Thank you again so much for listening and just being on this adventure with us. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too. Knuckle Sandwich as a name. We can make it work.
No.